When did you discover that about yourself, that you were your own biggest fan?
When I started taking improv classes, sometimes I would get a note that'd be like, boy, oh boy, Nicole, she's having the most fun on stage. Or like, or when people are like, why do you laugh at yourself? Because sometimes when I tell a joke on stage, I'll laugh after or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not leaving my house to tell jokes that I don't think are funny. I like the reason why I'm on stage is because I think it's funny. And then also, if you're not your own biggest fan, like, what are you doing?
Hi, Chad.
Hi, Julie.
You're rocking a side pony.
Yeah, I just tried that.
Yeah,
I like
know.
it.
I see it. You're rocking a side pony, and I can tell because we're back for season 2 with video. And everyone can see it. Yeah. Chad always has good hairstyles going on.
Thank you.
Who are we talking to today?
Today we're talking to Nicole Byer, who is really sharp, really frank. She's like, ask question, give answer. Like, I already said that, but it's just, it really is like a zing, zing, zing. She's pretty zingy. That's how I would put it.
She is.
She's zingy.
You know her from Nailed It, Emmy nominated from that. She's a comedian. She is multi-talented, very funny.
She's everywhere.
She drops a little quip bomb on us towards the end, so wait for it, people. I was fascinated. Here she is, Nicole Byer.
Nicole Byer.
Hello, Nicole Byer, and welcome to Quitters.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. I am so excited. I don't know, Chad.
I'm super excited. I just watched Nicole turn down a bunch of guys on the street. I enjoyed that. That's really fun.
On the dating one?
Yeah, the Jimmy Kimmel segment. She's outside on the street, and these guys come up, and they're not good enough for her. And it was great.
You're like a favorite on everything that you do. You made a show that is Nailed It, and then it was like nominated for an Emmy. Why? Nicole Byer. Like, you make silly seem worth it.
Oh, thank you.
What's your secret sauce?
I guess my secret sauce is I'm like my own biggest fan. I think I'm funny and I'm having a nice time.
When did you discover that about yourself, that you were your own biggest fan?
When I started taking improv classes, sometimes I would get a note that'd be like, boy, oh boy, Nicole, she's having the most fun on stage. Or like, or when people are like, why do you laugh at yourself? And I'm like, because sometimes when I tell a joke on stage, I'll laugh after or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not leaving my house to tell jokes that I don't think are funny. I like the reason why I'm on stage is because I think it's funny. And then also, if you're not your own biggest fan, like, what are you doing?
I feel that.
You have a real improv background because a lot of the stuff I see you do, it feels very like coming off the top of your head. At least that's the way you sell it, and it works.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did a lot of improv. I started in 2008, and I still do shows and shit.
Where do we see this? I want to see this.
Oh, anywhere. I used to do it at UCB before it closed, and then now just around town. If you happen to see it on my Instagram, I don't really promote it because if I'm working, I will bail if I have an early call time. So I try not to promote them. So it's like, if you see me, you see me.
We've done a lot of homework, so we know that you're pretty much working constantly, it sounds like now. And I want to get into that a little bit. But regarding your being your own biggest fan, you are hysterical, and you don't have like that underlying darkness that glows off of some comedians. Do you feel me? Does that resonate? Like me saying that to you?
I don't know. I disagree. I feel like deep, because I'm not interested in people that are all fluffy.
I don't think she's
assume
fluffy.
there's
I
a
think
darkness.
she looks introspective. She looks like she knows herself. She looks like she makes fun of herself. All that shit. You know how you feel a little bit scared when you watch certain comedians, even though they're hysterical? Like, I don't feel that. I feel like there's a little bit more, I don't know, like something a little warmer that comes off of you. Does that resonate?
I think so. I've never really thought of it like that. I stick to topics that I like, and I think I can frame a lot of things that might seem bad in a better, like a nicer way.
Which is why you're so successful on Nailed It. Because literally it's about things being bad.
Yeah.
And you make it funny. And so, but there is a warmth, an inherent warmth too. Like, does anyone not like you?
I know 100% that there's people out there who don't like me, but that's okay because comedy's subjective. You can't be for everybody. That's insane. But yeah, sometimes people will, comment on my Instagram that I'm not funny or they don't like me or I'm too fat. And I'm like, these are all true. Like, I could be not funny to you. I am a fat person. I'm glad you told me. You got it off your chest.
I'm so glad. I hope you're feeling better about it because I forgot to give a shit.
Yeah, I truly don't care because it's like, if you don't like me, hopefully you'll find somebody that you can laugh at and that you like.
That comes from a real place of confidence, truth. Like you're really like, this is me. If you're not into this, change the channel.
There's going to be some people who don't like you. And like, if you think about it, that's fine. It's okay. It's okay if like out of 10 people, 2 don't like you. It's okay if 9 people out of 10 don't like you. One person will. There's always going to be one person who likes you.
But as far as what they're commenting on, it is what you are putting out there. What percentage of you, in your entirety, do you hold back that we not ever see? Chad and I talk about this all the time because Chad is just sort of starting his journey into being a very public figure, and especially with rap shit. Woo, rap shit! Yes!
Nicole's like, what's that?
No, I know what it is. It's on HBO. It's produced by Issa Rae. I watched the trailer. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it is on my list because I think it looks great.
Take your time.
It's super different than I thought it would be, and I'm really loving it. I thought it was going to be much more like background noise for me while I'm folding laundry, and I was like, oh, no. I had to sit, and I had to stop. No, because that's the way I watch. No, a lot of TV is that for me. It keeps me company. And I was like, oh, wait, stop. It's not set up, joke, you know what I mean? You got to give it your attention, but it's so worth it. But we talk a lot about what social media and how much of yourself you're going to put out there. Of course, everybody thinks that, oh, I know Nicole Byer. This is exactly who she is. But it's what you're putting out there. What percentage is it of you?
I would say 90% of it is, I think like 100%. I'm not like putting anything on, but there are things I do keep personal to myself. You can't put everything out there because then if you don't have anything for you, what are you doing in your personal life? But I'm not putting anything on. I'm never saying anything that I don't actually believe.
No, I believe that. I just am wondering, how much do you keep to yourself?
Oh, a lot. A ton of stuff.
Like, could you secretly have a very successful relationship? Because part of your public-facing persona is you can't find the right guy. People don't appreciate you for who you are. What would happen if you were in some really successfully intimate relationship? Do you feel like that would carve into your public persona in a way that would be negative?
No, I think it would influence my comedy a little bit more because I do pull from life. People ask, like, would you continue the podcast? And I'd be like, yeah. The answer is just, why won't you date me? It's because I have somebody. Yeah, I would continue it. And yeah, I think I would probably make jokes about it. I'm curious. It would be fun. I would love to be able to make jokes about a boyfriend.
Would you really, though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It'd be fun.
You've like hooked into something about dating that really sticks on people. Like, it's in your comedy, it's in your podcast, and you talk about it. It resonates with me. I'm 34. I'm engaged. I dated for like, I don't know, probably 10 years in New York City. It was really fun. It was really shitty. It was like a whole range of things. What's the thing that you've hooked into that is making it work for you?
Nothing that's happened to me is specific to me. Everyone's been on a bad date. Everybody has gone on a date and been like, this is the one. Everyone has thought this is the one, and then that's not the one. So I think it's just super relatable.
If I may, can we dating is different for Black folks, especially in some of these cities, like LA, like New York, and especially on dating apps, where some people will left swipe you just on face value, in spending so much time talking to people about dating, thinking about dating. What have you seen in that regard that's like specific to Black folks?
Well, there was like a study on OkCupid, I think, that Black women and Asian men are at the bottom of the totem pole. And I also see that. Like, I don't match with a ton of people. I don't go on that many dates. And it's also, I'm not just a Black woman. I'm also a fat Black woman. I'm also in the public eye. I'm also very loud. So it's like, it's a lot of things rolled up into one giant ball, and you have to be accepting of all that. And I guess what I've learned is just like, I don't know, I haven't met the person who likes all of that, because it is a lot.
Do you think guys are intimidated by those things? I'm not on apps, but producer Rachel is, and we wind down several nights a week with a glass of wine and a good swiping session. And because it's not my skin in the game, I really enjoy it. So I'm divorced and I have a very good relationship with my ex-husband. We're very peaceful. But people said that one of the reasons why people speculated to me and, oh, I bet you were intimidating for him. It was probably a lot. You were really successful during your marriage. You know, he gets his opinion on that. Do you think that it's intimidating to be a successful woman?
Intimidating is such an interesting word. I just think a lot of men just don't want it. They just don't want to deal with it. I don't think it's like an intimidation thing. It's just like, oh, I would like to be the breadwinner. I would like to be the center of attention. I want her to laugh at me. I don't think it's intimidation. I think it's just like, I don't want to deal with that.
Like deal with their smallness in that regard.
Correct. Like I don't want to date someone who makes me feel less than. And I don't think that's like intimidation. I think it's truly just like, I want to be the center of attention. I want her to laugh. Just like that age old, like a girl just being like flirty and being like, oh my God, you're so funny. It's like, I'm not going to do that.
And I could see how that would be hard for anybody because you're very smart and very fast. But like there's guys out there who are very smart and very fast who should be able to deal with that. I mean, it's not just that you're successful. Like you mentioned a few dimensions of who you are that like people left swipe according to the OkCupid thing that you read, which I'm also familiar with. And I'm not like just trying to poke the subject matter. It's interesting to me. Like I study race a lot, I write about race a lot. And even still, I'm still kind of just like, but what the fuck? Like what is really under there? Do you know what I mean? Like what's really the thing? Do you think you have a handle on it?
No, I think if I had like a handle on it or the answers, then I could just solve it and find somebody. In LA, you have a lot of people who aesthetically look more like somebody in a magazine or like on TV or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm ugly. I think I'm very beautiful. I'm just not traditionally the way that you would think of beauty. It sounds like I'm talking down to myself, but I'm not. I'm just realistic. I know what the media pushes and feeds you.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This episode of Quitters is brought to you by Satva.
Chad.
Yes, Julie.
What kind of mattress did you get from Satva?
I got a Lumen Leaf Relaxed Firm mattress.
You know, I got a Lumen Leaf, but I got the firm. Why does that not surprise me that you got a relaxed firm and I got a firm? Because I'm uptight. Is that why?
I have a relaxed visage, but I am indeed firm.
You know what? I'm single, but Gertie the dog and I, we do love it. Gertie and I get snuggly on the Satva every night. We're very happy with it. And when she gets up and jumps off and then comes back because she went and peed in the rug in the living room, doesn't even move. No jiggling around.
And I can confirm that in the morning, I do not want to get out of bed. I just want to lay around on my Satva. I spin over and over. I put different pillows between my legs, and I just want to be there a little bit.
Pillows between your legs.
Yeah, for back support.
Sure.
Spinal support. Yeah.
The thing that I'm referring to is inner spring. The thing that makes it not move. I don't know, memory foam, latex, like all of these are different kind of Satva mattresses. I'm not a mattress expert. I just know that I really like my bed now a lot.
Same Z. The cool thing about Satva also is they make one mattress per type, the best in each category. So whatever kind of mattress you like, they got it.
That's right. You know you're getting the best, whether it's the inner spring or the memory foam or the latex or even a crib mattress. Man, my kids would have loved that. They were sleeping on like a piece, like a towel. They did not have a fancy mattress back then.
Crib mattress.
Go to satva.com/quitters right now and save $200 on your purchase of $1,000 or more.
That's SAATVA.com/quitters to save $200 on your purchase of $1,000 or more.
Satva. That's me singing. Where'd you grow up?
Jersey.
Okay, so I remember the first time I came to LA, it was 94. Drove across the country with two of my best friends, Susanna and Susanna. And I remember we drove in and came in hot from Vegas and we were a mess. And we were at some bar looking around going, what do they do with the old and the ugly here? Like there are no unattractive people in LA. And it is stunning when you first experience that. Chad, do you remember your first experience of that?
Yes, but also like when I visit LA, there's like the different pockets of LA. Like when I go and hang out with my high school friends who live in Inglewood, it's different. It looks different there versus when I come up to the suburbs or when I go to West Hollywood. Like it all looks different. Where do you live, if we can ask that, Nicole?
Me?
And give your address.
I live in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, cool. Word. It's different from Jersey. I live in Queens now. So, like, it's definitely different from Jersey. Yes.
So you grew up in New Jersey. Are you an only child?
No, I have an older sister.
Did she end up a comedian as well?
No, she is a teacher. She works with kids. She's got the patience of a saint. She's the nicest person. Anytime I'm like, is there an awful thing she's ever done? I can't think of one. Like, she's so nice.
Does that give you some freedom, though? Does that allow you to be the younger sister who's a little bit messier?
Oh, yeah. I constantly stayed in trouble, and she constantly was just like getting straight A's and was being nice to people. We're very, very different. Like, I'm a little taller. She's very short. I'm fat. She's very thin. We're just like very different.
The most recent thing that I read about you, I'm ashamed to say, it was a Yahoo feature. It was detailing like how back to back to back to back your schedule is and your life is right now. I have a much less crowded schedule than yours, and like I'm sick right now just because like I just have a cold, just because it's just like literally the physical toll is a lot. Have your life always been like this? Were you a kid with a lot of energy, or is this new for you?
No, I've always had a lot of energy. I have a little bit of not a little bit. I have very severe ADHD. It's like easier for me to compartmentalize different things and bop around to different things and pull focus from thing to thing. I recently got an assistant, and that has been, oh boy, so helpful and wonderful to help me with my schedule. Because before I was doing everything by myself up until October of last year. And that was real awful. Like everything would get done, just like when, who knows. I like being busy. I like working. And then I do take breaks. not in a sense that like normal people do, because I do work weekends too a lot, but I will like take a nice vacation where I do nothing.
You know, the name of the show is Quitters, and we don't know that much about your early years. I want to know if there was ever a time you were on a different trajectory. Was there ever a time when you were like your sister, like, I'm going to be a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, something in the straight and narrow kind of world?
For a little bit, I wanted to be a mechanic.
Sweet. Not at all what I was expecting.
When I was little, I loved cars. I still like cars. Like I just bought my dream car, which is a 98 Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to get my kids in here.
Yeah,
They're gonna shit themselves. Does it have the lights that could do this?
No.
Up in the
so
front?
They stopped making them with the lights that pop up, I think, in 95 or 96.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't want to get that one because it's a pain in the ass to get them fixed, and you have to find a mechanic that like knows how to do all that shit. But yeah, it was my favorite car growing up. It was like an affordable Japanese sports car, and I loved it. I could have gotten the Dodge Stealth, which is like the same wheelbase. Actually, it's like the same car.
What do you mean it's the same car? I know this is off topic, but like when people just throw that off, they're like, yeah, wait, the first one was a Mitsubishi, and then you're like, oh, but the Dodge is the same car.
For whatever reason, they shared the same frame. It's like it's the same car. It's the same thing with like an Eagle Talon and a Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's the same car. Dodge Intrepid and the Eagle Vision are similar wheelbases, different, but I don't know why Dodge and Mitsubishi had the same cars, because they don't correlate, they don't correspond. Like Toyota and Lexus are like the same car.
Okay, you're blowing my mind. This was really a passion of, I mean, it still is a passion, but so it sounds like being a mechanic was seriously an option for you.
Yeah, like I asked my dad to show me how to change my oil in my car. I asked him to show me how to change a tire, because I was like, these are all things I'm going to have to do when I get into the shop. That didn't really work out. And then I really wanted to be an illustrator because I love drawing. Then I took an art class and I was like, oh my God, everyone's so much better than me. I can't do this. So then I gave that up.
Do you still draw?
Sometimes.
How do you feel when you walk away from a thing that you thought was defining you? You're an artist, you're a mechanic, and these are the things that you sort of defined you as a kid. What happens when you leave those behind?
Well, the mechanic thing, I was like, I don't know. I just didn't follow up on it. I didn't know how to do that. Like, right. I didn't know if there was like a vocation school to go. I just didn't look into it, so I didn't really think much of it. When I gave up art and drawing. I didn't like give it up, but I stopped doing it as much as I did. I kind of just replaced it with acting because in high school I started doing plays and stuff. I'll tell you something I did quit. I quit smoking in January, cigarettes.
Yes, that you have, and boy, your tweet about that, I'm going to read it. I quit smoking. This is like, we're going to steal this from you. So it's done. I quit smoking yesterday and I'm thinking about quitting, but I just should quit thinking about quitting and continue to quit. Genius.
It was so hard. The first like month and a half was like, my God, really tough. Like just awful. Like I go to sleep dreaming about them. And then sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'd love to have one.
How long did you smoke?
From about 15 till I'm 35 or 37. Wait, I'm 36? I don't know.
20 years? Shit.
And what inspired you to quit?
A friend of mine was like, you know how like you smell gross. Like you really stink. And I was like, oh, do I? And then I stopped smoking for like a couple days and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I do stink. And then I worked with someone who smokes. And then I was like, oh, is that what I smell like? And then I was like, okay, I have to actually like let this go.
And so you stop in, you said January?
Mm-hmm.
Like one day you just had a last cigarette and then...
No, I read a book called The Easy Way to Quit by Alan Carr. And I'd read the book before and I got to the end and I was like, oh shit, I think I actually want to quit. I won't finish this book. So then I just kept smoking. And then I like actually finished it. And then I had my last cigarette. It's like a whole ritual where you like enjoy it and you're like, this is my last one. And then like I put it out and then I had several packs of cigarettes in my house and I was like, well, I have to get rid of these. So I like ripped them up and poured water on them and threw them in my trash can. And then at 3 a.m. woke up and was like, I could probably cobble one back together. And I was like, wait, you're going to go through your fucking trash,
them
Nicole?
together.
Yes. And I was like, okay, so this book is right. Like it's nasty. I'm addicted to little ciggies. I miss them.
So that's really interesting. The quitting was about something, your relationship with other people.
Yeah.
You quit because you didn't like how you smelled to other people because then you smelled somebody who was smoking. Like, and I don't want to put thoughts in your mind. You could just vape, which has much less smell.
Yeah, I could vape, but for whatever reason, vaping hurts my throat a lot. So I'm a purist. I love a cigarette. I love lighting it. I love that first drag. I just love it. And then my best friend, she would also be like, you smell like cigarettes all the time. And I'd be like, I know I smell like cigarettes because I smoke them. But it is nice not smelling like them.
How has it changed you?
I get sad. No, I'm kidding. Well, my blood pressure went down, so that's good. I guess I'm not winded as much going up the stairs. I don't really see like a huge change.
You're a walking advertisement for quit smoking. She's like, it's basically the same. It's the same. I could have just used mouthwash and achieved the same effect.
Have you replaced like the ritual or the feeling or the hot, like the buzz? Have you replaced it with something?
No, I actually haven't. It's not funny, but like I used to smoke like when people would leave my house or like in the mornings and at night. And I have like a little backyard area where there's like a table and an ashtray. And every time I walk past it, I'm like, oh, we don't do that anymore. It was a ritual. Like I would go to, I have a little back office at my house and I'd like walk out to my office, smoke a cigarette before I go in my office. When I leave my office, smoke a cigarette. It was just like, I punctuated things with a cigarette and now I just have to be done with shit.
Yeah, that sounds really hard. That sounds like maybe you have to get rid of the table or something. Like maybe the table has to just be donated to Goodwill.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or repurposed or like cover it in flowers or something.
Oh, I could do that. Just cover it in flowers, make it all cute and shit.
Have you talked to anybody about what happens in your brain when you quit?
No, I actually don't. I don't know what happens in your brain.
Chad and I have talked to people about quitting other things, especially quitting like negative thinking and negative patterns and stuff and about what happens to your brain. I don't know what happens in your brain when you quit smoking. I'm curious. I'd love to know. We've got to get Mayim Bialik back on here because she knows what happens in your brain. She's like a neuroscientist. Did you know
Oh,
that?
is she really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she came on here and told us she quit smoking. That was her quit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I forgot that.
She did.
I forgot that at the very end, she's like, I haven't really quit that many things. At the very end, she's like, I quit smoking. But no one knew she smoked.
Her kid
smoker.
found out she smoked. That was one of the reveals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it going to change your dating life to not be a non-smoker?
Probably. They'll probably change it for the better. People really hate cigarette smoke. The older I got, the more I was like, Jesus Christ, everyone's so fucking uptight about this.
Did you grow up with smokers in your house?
Sure didn't. My mom didn't smoke. My dad didn't smoke. Nobody smoked. I took it upon myself. I was like, I think it's cool. I'm going to learn how to do this. And then I learned you have to learn how to smoke.
What kind of high school did you go to? I'm curious.
I went to Middletown High School South in Middletown, New Jersey. It was like a big school.
Public school.
Public school, yes.
I went to public school. And I was just like, were the kids smoking cigarettes? Or were you just like, huh, those smell good. I want to have one.
I had a couple of friends who smoked, but for the most part, it was just me. I thought it was cool and I really wanted to do it. I would like smoke in the bathroom and shit.
Oh, wow. You really doubled down.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to be a smoker.
Was that part of your identity at the time?
Yeah,
You're
I was going to say.
I'm bad. I'm a bad girl.
Were you like the edgy kid?
No, not really. I did plays and shit by the end of high school. I'm the type of person who's like, oh, I'll try anything once. So if like people were drinking, I'd be like, oh, I'll drink. Oh, we're smoking weed now? I'll smoke weed. Yeah, I would just try anything in high school. I'm still like that now.
Was your school super diverse? Were there a lot of students of color? Or were
I was going to ask that same question. I was just going to say it like this,
No.
though. Did you go to school with white kids?
Yeah, I went to school with a lot of white kids. But it didn't feel weird at the time. Like looking back, I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I grew up in a very Republican town and there was a lot of white people. But yeah, I had like lots of friends and shit. Truly, nobody really smoked, though.
I wanted to ask that question to just segue to something that is totally not quitting related, but it is related to people sending you texts in 2020 about like feeling bad about, I don't know, like race in America and that kind of stuff. Can you tell us that story a little bit? Because that's interesting.
Yeah, so in 2020, during the protests, it was the summer, I just started getting texts from white people who were acquaintances, not super close friends, who were like, if there's anything you need, let me know. And I'd be like, what the fuck? What do you mean if I need anything? And then I was talking to Sashir, who's like my best friend, and we have a podcast together. And I was like, this is a weird question, but like, are white people texting you like if you need something to like let them know? And she was like, yes. And I was like, well, what are you saying back? And she's like, I haven't responded to people, or like I just said okay or whatever. And I was like, okay. Then I texted my sister and I was like, are white people texting? She was like, yes. So then I started telling this joke on stage, and then I would ask the black people in the audience, I'd be like, are your white friends texting you? And I think truly every single show I did except for one, they were all like, yes, they are texting, and I don't know why. So then, yeah, I like wrote it into a joke.
Wait, Julie, before you do.
Wait.
Julie, were you
No,
texting
I
your
wanna
black
know what the
friends?
No,
Oh.
I didn't. There's so much here. Keep going to the joke. I'm sorry.
That
How did you
was
make
such
it
an
funny?
annoying. That was such an annoying time. Exactly. How did you make it funny and not just be like ignore them or be cranky?
Well, it's in my special, but the punchline is just the only white people who didn't text me were all the white dudes I ever fucked.
Is that the truth? I actually remember that from your special.
Yes,
Is that the
is
truth?
the truth.
Like, what'd you land on in terms of like, what am I supposed? Like, what are they even asking me? Like, what do I need? Like Uber Eats? Like a gift card?
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, am I getting my reparations now? Like, what is this?
Yes, one white person at a time. We got together and we decided this is probably the best way to do this is just one sort of
One at a
$10
time,
gift certificate at a
individually.
time. And then we get together at our meeting and we talk about it.
I think I just responded with like a thumbs up, or I didn't respond. I was like, it's a shitty time. It's like, I'm tired of watching black people being, murdered on videos and shit. Ugh. And then it's like, now we're marching and now I have to mitigate, like, no offense, white tears. And I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to do this. So I was like, I am not going to respond.
Generally speaking, I'm just guessing because of where you stand right now. Like, there's probably white people all over in your life, in your business life, like your neighbors. What is your relationship with white people like? Like, is it comfortable? Like, I'm black. Like, a lot of the black folks in my life love you. Your name comes up a lot. We laugh. We watch your special together. It seems like white people like you too. Like, it seems like That's unusual. Is there anything you've done intentionally to walk that line, or is that just who you've always been?
I don't know. I think I just try to put out things that I think are funny, and if you like me, you like me, and I'm happy you like me, and I don't really care what race you are, what color you are.
Did it put you in an uncomfortable position, though, in that moment, like for real, not just the funny of it? Because you are great to be able to find the funny in political strife and racial strife. Chad wrote an op-ed piece for the New York Times that they titled, right? You didn't
but
pick
it was
the title, but
they titled
I
it.
don't need love texts from my white friends.
Yeah, it was a good title.
And I read that before I met Chad, and I read it and was like, like dropped it. And I was like, thank God I haven't sent any text. But at the same time, like, was 100% just mentally crafting the perfect text that would make all Black people love me all the time. And then when I read Chad's book, and then we got in touch with each other, I read it, and I read his piece again, and I tried to be more measured about it, try to take it less personally. We can still get into it on this one at times because I'm like, well, what were white people supposed to do? And he's like, shut the fuck up. I get that now. But at the same time, I wanted to be a good white person. I did all the reading. I read all the books. And I'm really glad I did because I finally understood white tears. Like you said, sorry, no offense. And I'm like, none taken. I know exactly what you mean, and I'm really glad I read those books. But I also know that there's a lot of, you can read the books and still have to shut the fuck up.
Good answer.
I do want to be a good white person.
Well said, Nicole. You're good at this, man. Like you're just good at this.
What do you mean?
You're solid. You're like, I say what I say, like I feel how I feel, I am how I am, and everybody else can like move around that. Does that sound right?
There's no point in trying to mold yourself into like what you think somebody wants from you, because then you're just going to spend your whole life guessing. I'd rather just like do things, and then if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And if I offend you, I will try to figure out how I offended you and then change it.
Will you though?
I mean, yeah, if something is super offensive, like if I tell a joke that like people are like, oh, that was offensive, I didn't like it, I'll be like, okay, I'll take a step back and I will try to figure out why it was offensive. And then if it is like actually offensive, I will stop telling that joke. I don't think you have to apologize for a joke. I think you could just learn and evolve.
But who gets to decide that? Because you said there's always going to be, even if there's 10 people and 9 of them love you and 1 hates you, that's life in the public eye. And there's that one person that's like, boo, no, canceled.
I think if you're telling a joke that's not relevant to you, you don't identify with the group of people you're talking about, and it's offensive to that group of people, and that group tells you that it's offensive, I think you got to take a step back and go, why am I telling this joke? Why am I talking about something I don't know about? I truly think it's like, if I don't have an experience with it, then why am I talking about it? If it hasn't affected me, why am I talking about it? Like, I have a Karen joke in my special. I've encountered Karens, so I'm like, this is my view on it. But if I had no encounter with one and I'm just like noticing and like hearing about it in the zeitgeist, like, why am I making a joke about it? Because I heard about it? No, I like to make jokes about things that I've experienced, because then it's like authentic. Otherwise, it's like, why are you telling this joke?
You have so many outlets for your voice and creativity. Like 10, let's just say. You have that many, right? Like you have podcasts, you have TV, you have also appearances. You also do stuff like this. Like, how do you not run out? I know you said you're ADHD, so I imagine you probably have a lot of things firing off at once all the time anyway. But like, how do you just like not get tapped, or do you get tapped?
I mean, a lot of shit's by design. Like with the podcasts, one is about relationships, so that's like relationships. One is with my best friend, so that's just us like having a nice time and tee-hee-heeing. And then one is about watching movies with Lauren Lapkus, newcomers. And then the other one is about 90 Day Fiance, so we're talking about 90 Day Fiance. It's geared towards not running out of things to say about these certain topics. Wipeout, those jokes are written for me and Cena. Nailed It, I have a loose outline of shit that I improvise within. Grand Cruise scripted. It's easy to do all of these things because they are structured in a way that keeps them being not repetitive, but like long running, if that makes sense.
Do you ever worry that you're going to get, that people will burn out on you?
No. I hope they don't. They might.
I think that you are endlessly entertaining and fascinating because you're authentic. I don't want to damn you with your own praise, but I remember hearing once about somebody looking for a Julie Bowen type. I go, how about just fucking me? How about me? Because I'm available. So you don't get a Julie Bowen type. They're like, well, we don't really want you. We're just looking for someone like you.
Yeah, that's awful.
But the flip side is like Sofia Vergara. I remember one day saying to her, she always would work on the weekends, and she is 100% given me permission to do her voice. She was like, Jess, this weekend I'm going to do the Ninja coffee maker for the how you say the television. You know, those long ad. What are those ads called?
Commercial?
No, but it's like the long one. It's like a half an hour ad.
Oh, an infomercial.
An infomercial. And I was like, Sophia, you're a good actress. Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. She goes, please, right now they want me. I make all the money I can, and then poof, I disappear. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is that, maybe I'm doing this wrong. And do you ever have thoughts like that? Like, I should get it while the getting's good.
Yeah. I mean, if people want to hire me for things, of course I'd like to do them, because there will be a time where, I mean, knock on wood, I hope it doesn't come, but there will be a time where you're not as hot as you once were. You know, women have expiration dates in here old Hollywood. You get a couple of wrinkles or two and they go, go to bed, you're nasty. So yeah.
Go to bed.
I do try to work as much as I can, but I'm also like lucky because I've created a career where a lot of it depends on me. So like I could go tour. People will come see me because they like me. I don't always have to just be on television and like wait for someone to cast me. I also write. I do podcasts. So they might get sick of me, but I don't think I'm going to go anywhere.
Your answer totally made sense when I asked you, how do you not run out of stuff? And the answer was basically because like the format of everything that I work on is such that it like lends to more stuff, basically. Did I paraphrase that right?
Yeah.
You just added 4 more things to the list that I didn't even mention, which is that you tour, you write. Like, do you even acknowledge what I'm saying? That you're prolific. Like, is it just flowing through you, or is there some discipline about it?
I mean, there's discipline. When I wrote my book, that was hard. There was like deadlines and shit, and I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know. And it's a picture book. It's like there aren't that many words, but I was like struggling to write this. I don't know. I just like, I like doing it. I like telling jokes. Like, also I have help. Like my manager listens to my podcast and Joel will be like, hey, this little thing you said's pretty funny. Do you want to like add on to it and make it into like a full-fledged joke? And I go, oh, okay. And then like Sashir and we've written stuff together. We collaborate a lot. So like I do things with people. So it's not just me by myself.
Is there anything that secretly, and you don't have to name the project because you have so many. You just named so many that I lost count. Secretly in your brain, is there one of them you're like, oh, I could dump that?
No, because I like all my jobs. I did take a step away from stand-up because it was just getting overwhelming working like 5 days a week and then touring on the weekends. I'll just take a little bit of a break from something. And then everything doesn't shoot at the same time. So I'm pretty happy and content and like really fucking lucky that I get to do what I get to do.
And now a word from our sponsors.
This episode of Quitters is brought to you by Primal Kitchen. So my favorite thing about Primal Kitchen is like, sometimes I just want to go in the fridge and pull something out that I know is going to taste delicious and also not make me feel sick. Especially when I'm going for like a midnight snack, you know what I mean? Like if it's 10:30 to midnight-ish and I just got to go in there and get something yummy and I don't want it to like wake me up with a nightmare in the middle, that's Primal Kitchen.
Primal Kitchen's delicious. My kids love it. Summer is in the rearview mirror, but in California it's always summer, so we do a lot of grilling. And Primal Kitchen has some great recipes on their website for Chipotle lime tacos. And we grill the chicken, and then you put the Chipotle lime mayo on it. It's a little smoky, a little tangy, delicious. Because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, terrible cook. I rely on a good sauce. And I like that Primal Kitchen products are high quality ingredients, good fats, all that stuff.
Yes,
like
they
it.
also have a mac and cheese with non-dairy mac and cheese because I love mac and cheese. Who doesn't want mac and cheese? I don't love a dairy stomachache, and so I don't have to have that.
You and producer Rachel. Producer Rachel cannot stomach the dairy either. Me, no problem. I got no problem. So if you have a grill, I highly recommend get grilling with Primal Kitchen. You can just put it in a bag, in a bowl, if you want to save the earth. Put your chicken in a bowl, put it in there with the avocado dressing is delicious. They've got a kale salad that's really good if you are a terrible cook like me, and you just basically throw things in a bowl and then put the kale Caesar dressing in there. There's so many ways to go, and you look like a hero because everything's high quality, great ingredients.
High quality, great ingredients, good fats from plant-based oils. The thing is, life isn't meant to be lived with sauce on the side. Life isn't meant to be lived with sauce on the side. Enjoy more, please, with Primal Kitchen.
I got one thing to say to you.
Say it.
Morgan Bueller Zanotti.
Morgan
Bueller Zanotti. Female founder and mother of 2 of Primal Kitchen. Let's go, ladies.
Whoa.
Find Primal Kitchen in your local grocery store or visit primalkitchen.com/quitters to get 20% off your order. Primal Kitchen.
Boom.
What's your IRL life like when you're not working, which seems rare? I mean, now you can't smoke cigarettes in the backyard.
I know.
either.
That's one of
So,
the first thing that occurred to me too,
Very
Chad. I was
sad.
like, it's right here. She sits here and
used to
she's
be.
swiping. Just swiping and smoking.
What do? I hang out with my dog. I travel. I like to go to nice restaurants. I like drinking. I like roller skating. I pole dance.
Whoa. Let's just take a pause. You had me at roller skating, but then you just had to go on to pole dancing. Can you explain the genesis of both of these loves?
Sure. So right when the pandemic started, I think it was like April or May, they were like, you can go outside. Outside's not too bad. I was like, all right, well, what can we do outside? And I was like, ooh, roller skate. I've always wanted to roller skate. So I bought a pair of roller skates. And then I was like, Sashir, you have to buy roller skates. And she was like, I don't want to. So then I sent her a bunch of links to roller skates I thought she would like. And she said, I don't want to buy these. And I said, well, you will. And we're going to learn how to do this. So then she bought roller skates. My friend Logan, AKA Meatball, he's a drag queen, and his boyfriend, they had roller skates. And then my friend Ellie had roller skates. So then I was like, okay, let's all meet in the park on Tuesdays and we'll have a little skate gang. So on Tuesdays, we would play music and roller skate till the sun went down and then drink wine. And we did that all summer and it was so nice. I'm also speaking from such a privileged place that during the pandemic, I was like, I started a skate gang and we had a nice time and people were dying. I do know that that's like a nice thing that I got to do that a lot of people were not afforded. And then pole dancing, I started doing maybe like 3 years ago at this point. My friend Eleanor was like posting videos on her Instagram and she's got these like beautiful long legs and she was pole dancing. And I was like, oh my God, you look so good. Where are you doing this? I want to do this. And she was like, oh, this studio called Luscious Maven in North Hollywood. And I was like, I want to do it. And she's like, you can. And I was like, I think I'm too fat. And she was like, no. Have you ever seen like 2 people on a pole? Just like if 2 people could be on and so I came up with my own equation. If 2 to 3 thins could be on a pole, 1 fat could be on a pole.
Your concern was for the pole?
Well, I was like, I don't want to rip the pole out of the wall.
So did you go to that place, Maven?
Yeah, Luscious Maven in North Hollywood. Eleanor came with me to my first class, so did Sashir. It's kind of addicting because you learn like 3 very basic spins. And by the end of like the hour and a half, you can do at least one of them. And you're like, oh, if I just try hard enough, I can just do this.
Is it like the actual physical exhilaration of like moving around thing? Or is it like the performance aspect? Like what's fun about it?
I don't know. I wish when I was little, someone was like, you do need to exercise, you know, like you got to move your body. It just makes it work better. But you can find something fun. A fun way to move your body that does, the job of moving it or whatever. Pole dancing is like a fun way to move your body. And then I like to make little videos and then you can watch it and then you're like, look at what I fucking did. And then I like strippers. I think sex work is real work. I don't know. In another world, I'd be a stripper. That seems like a fun time.
Do you watch P-Valley?
I love P-Valley.
I just started watching it and
is
I was
so good.
shredded by what those women could do on a pole.
Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
incredible.
It was astounding. And the thing where they do like the death drop from above and all, I was like, oh, this is like an Olympic sport.
It should be.
They're real athletes.
They are.
And the core strength. Have you felt a difference in your body since you started doing it?
Oh, absolutely. Like I'm stronger. I'm more limber. I could always do a split, but I lost my splits. Because if you don't practice them, you'll lose them. I just like worked with my teacher, Veronica, for like, I don't know, it was like 2 months. And then I was like, oh yeah, I could do a full split again. So now I can like drop into a split.
Like from up, like spin, 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 bam, down onto the split.
I can't drop from super far.
Okay.
Just from a standstill, right?
That's
Into
too
the
scary.
split.
Any kind of a split, I'm impressed
Well, I
by.
can
I'm
like
just going on my P-Valley knowledge.
wrap my legs around the pole and then drop into it.
Hey, do you have a point of view on East Coast strip clubs versus California strip clubs, LA strip clubs?
I've never been to like a New York strip club. I've been to a strip club in Miami, which was wild. Truly the wildest time I've ever had in my whole life. I've been to a strip club in Kansas, which was also it was pretty fun. Kansas was fun.
I bet that was wild.
Yeah, I liked Kansas. Portland, I went during the day, so it was a little sad.
You went for the buffet.
The daytime shift. Ooh,
The
boy.
daytime shift is always a little different
A
than
little tough. I went to a male strip club in Portland too called Stag, which was super fun.
That's a good name.
Yeah, right? And then I've been to Jumbo's out here.
Yeah. Jumbo's, though, doesn't serve alcohol.
No, Jumbo's does serve alcohol. It's not fully nude. So in California,
That's what
if
it
it's
is.
fully
California,
nude,
right.
no alcohol.
Julie.
That's right. Because oddly, it's in Canada at the Peeler bars. They're called the Peeler bars. You're up in Sniffer's Row, and it's full nude and all alcohol. And I think they just trust that Canadians are that much more polite than Americans.
That's
In
most strip
Portland.
clubs.
In Portland,
Not in
fully
California.
nude. Yeah,
Not in
it's
California.
California specific.
And then there's the weird pasty law. It's not in every state, but I know it must be in Illinois, because in Illinois, as long as you're wearing a pasty, you're not fully nude.
Oh.
But they'll wear these pasties that are like painted like nipples or like bedazzled or bejeweled or something. So that counts as not being fully nude. But it's, it's a small area of coverage, to be honest. But I find going to strip bars, I used to think it was really fun because I wanted to be a boy. And I wanted to hang out with boys. And I thought that all the things that happened in the world that were good were happening when girls weren't around and boys were like talking to each other. And so I used to go to strip bars frequently. And I found that the ladies really love another lady in a strip club. They love it. But I was going broke.
Well, you have to. You have to tip.
It is $20 every 15 minutes, no matter what.
I think so. People don't tip, and I'm like,
oh, that's wrong.
Why are you here? You cannot be here. You also cannot sit up front. I try to tip like 5 to 10 per girl, which is a lot. Usually it's like 1 to 2 per girl, but like, yeah, you gotta spend the money.
$1 to $2.
Oh,
okay. I was like, is she talking like, are you Usher?
I thought she meant hundreds.
Like thousands.
Yeah.
I was
And that's like another $15 to take your money out of the ATM. I know you said in another life, but do you think you would ever get up there?
I've
you
thought
do
about
a lot
it.
of scary shit, man.
yeah.
You do.
I mean, if I ever got like good at it, yes. So the goal is to get upside down. I can't get upside down yet because it's so fucking hard. But if I were to get upside down and like be able to actually like climb for a good chunk of time, I would probably try to like dance one night a week at a club.
That would be fire. That would be so
That'd be
cool. It would also be really
incredible.
cool for your next stand-up to like trickle down from a pole onto the stage.
That is fantastic, Chad.
Nobody would ever expect that.
Is there a better word than stripper?
What's wrong with that word?
I think stripper
I
is
don't know.
fine.
I just didn't know whether there was
Dancer, exotic dancers.
I don't know.
I think stripper's fine. I just know that we don't use prostitute anymore. That is full service sex work.
Full service sex work is prostitution. It is the world's oldest profession, and much respect to it. Nicole, back in the day, actresses were considered, prostitute adjacent and were buried outside of town along with what they then called, harlots.
How
Full-service
funny.
sex workers.
I
Yeah.
mean,
so we're right there.
Yeah. We're
We've always been
selling
right
our
next to it.
talents.
That's right. We're just selling it. Whoever's buying, we will sell it, and they're gonna have to bury us out of town. Chad, you could still get buried close to town.
Okay, great.
Lucky you.
That's what I think about.
I didn't see all of Hustlers. Did Lizzo ever get up on the pole on that?
I don't think so. 99% sure she does not dance.
I did see a guy call you Lizzo on the street on your Jimmy Kimmel thing. Was that a first?
No, people call me Lizzo all the time. It's funny. I mean, she's a singer. I do comedy. We're very different people. I've been called Gabourey Sidibe, Dulce Sloan, Amber Riley, just any other bigger black woman I have been called.
Have you ever run into any of those women and they said, oh my God, I get called you?
No, it was funny. Raven Goodman was on my podcast and I was like, I get mistaken for you a lot. And she was like, never in my life have I been mistaken for you. And I was like, cool, okay. But she's very, very sweet. Dulce, we've spoken about how people have mistaken us for each other. Natasha Rothwell's another one. So she has a Netflix character special. And when that came out, I remember I was in New York doing shows and someone was like, I love your Netflix character special. I was like, oh, I don't have one. And they're like, yes, you do. And I said, no, I sure don't. They're like, aren't you Natasha Rothwell? And I was like, no. And they were like, yes, you are. And I was like, what? And people like to do that. They like to go, yes, you are. I've been called Retta. Someone brought me Retta's picture and asked me to sign it. And I was like, I'm not Retta. And they're like, yes, you are. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'll sign it, but I'm not her.
Julie, that actually just reminded me, when someone was looking for a Julie Bowen type, how much time did you spend in your head trying to define what that was exactly?
At the time, I didn't give a shit. I was like, I want that job. What do you mean you're looking for a Julie Bowen type?
What did they mean? Let me not even guess what they meant.
I only found out because somebody said, isn't that great? You're a type.
You're a type now.
I think this is
Nicole's a type
pre-modern
now.
family, and I was really excited that my name was known at all. It felt like, oh, maybe I won't have to try so hard because it's 20 auditions for every one job kind of thing. And I was like, oh, maybe we're knocking our numbers down. Maybe it'll be 10-1. I thought it meant a loudmouth white girl. I always, arms crossed, judging, big finger. I don't know. I didn't care. I just wanted the job. I was like, what is the job? I bet in 5 years we're having a totally different conversation with Nicole where you, because you're here, I'm not going to talk about you in the third person, are picking and choosing more. I'd love to see how long you can maintain this, all these things that you're doing. I applaud it and I love it and I love working and I want to do that too.
We, in our homework, it's your schedule. We know that you once turned your camera to the thing and showed your schedule blocks and boom, boom. It's back to back to back to back to back. How much of your schedule filling is you just love what you do. You just love to work. You love the creative output. And how much of it is entrepreneurial? How much of it is just I'm building a business, the business of me, and I got to do this shit.
Well, I guess I don't ever think of it like that. I have a bunch of jobs and that's my schedule and I got to do it.
I didn't want to ask this question, which was why did you do this interview? Something comes across your desk. Your desk. I don't even know if you have a desk. But comes across your phone.
Her assistant's desk now.
Yeah, your assistant's desk. She comes to you. She says, hey, do you want to do this thing, Nicole? What does it run through to make that decision?
Do you want the honest thing? My publicist told me to do it.
So he or she is, or they are just
my publicist
tomorrow.
Will get a bunch of requests and then they'll send me the requests. And then I go, which one should I do? Because I don't.
That's awesome.
Like to read
made
anything.
The cut.
I know. That's why I just give the fist bump in the air.
So then she says, you got to do this thing.
Not you have to. They just go, here's what we recommend. And I go, okay, well, who's involved? And I go, oh, okay, this sounds like fun.
You and I have something very much in common that surprised me. You can't sing or dance really at all.
Nope.
But you can pole dance. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm not good at it.
But that you always wanted to do live theater.
I would love to be in a musical, but I don't see that for myself. I mean, I guess I could just do a straight play one day. I hope to. I would love to. I genuinely love theater. But yeah, I wish I could sing.
I spent a lot of time being rejected from live theater in New York. That's why I originally moved there after college, and I thought that was my trajectory, and TV was for people that couldn't make it in theater. And here I am, happily ensconced in television. But I always felt like it rejected me, therefore it's the thing I want. It's like the guy that wouldn't sleep with me, so I want him badly.
I only went out on, I think, 2 musical theater auditions. I auditioned for Grease, and I sang Rockin' Robin, but I didn't bring sheet music. And the pianist was so angry. He was like, why wouldn't you bring sheet music to a musical audition? What's in a musical? And I was like, music? And he was like, yes. And I was like, oh my God. And he was so mean to me. And they did let me sing it a cappella. It was not good. And they were like, thanks, goodbye. This is when I was like 20 years old.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't know any
Maybe
better.
21.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. It was an open call. It was like a cattle call. So there was like a bunch of different people there. I guess it was the national tour of Greece. I don't remember.
Are you a watch? This is the extent of my music knowledge. So are you a you a belter?
I know it's all of it is bad. I can't really belt. I can't say if I'm an alto or a soprano. Maybe I sing in a head voice. I don't know. It's all very bad. I've been taking singing lessons. My teacher is very kind, but I am bad.
I just heard the Jersey for the first time in this entire conversation
In
when
what
you
word?
said in the word all.
All.
Wall,
There it is.
wall.
Sometimes it pops out.
Of course, I got to bring it back to quitting. That's the name of the show. There's nothing that you would like shift out. There's no swap you would do. There's nothing you would quit so that you could do musical theater.
I mean, I'd have to learn how to sing first.
What about just straight theater? What about Hedda Gabler?
Honestly, I would love to do a play. I don't think I'd have to switch anything out. I think I could just take a break. I also stack podcast episodes, so like I could just stack before I went to New York to do the run and then just do it while I'm not shooting anything else. So I don't think I'd have to give up anything.
I'm just going to throw it out here to you and your publicist and your agent and everything. I think we should do a play. It should be a musical, but we never sing. Someone's going to have to write it. I see this written by like Amy Sedaris. It's 2 people that really, they are backstage at about to go on at the musical. They never actually sing because that's the thing that we cannot do. Maybe we go off
Okay.
stage, you just hear someone else sing.
As long as I don't have to sing.
Exactly. And Chad's
I'll dance.
actually very good at singing. I've never seen you dance, but I know that you can
Sing
sing.
okay.
So your biggest quit thus far, and it's big, is smoking.
Cigarettes. That's a big
And
one.
that is
That's a big hard one.
Yeah.
How often in the last 80 minutes have you thought about smoking?
Since we talked about it twice, and I did like do that at one time, I was like, ooh, that would be so nice. I miss the holding my little 2 fingers up, and I miss ashing. I miss them so much.
What did you smoke? What kind of cigarettes did you smoke?
Marlboro menthols. Well, I started with Marlboro Lights because we stole them from my friend's mother. And then I switched to Marlboro Reds. And then I switched to Virginia Slims and then Capris. And then Marlboro Menthol Lights. And then I was like, no, I like menthols. So then Marlboro Menthols for a solid probably 12 years, 15 years.
Do you have a smoking friend who you like left behind who feels estranged now?
No.
Oh,
No,
just
like,
your backyard.
You're the outlier. She's
Everybody-
like the only one.
Everybody. So okay, my old roommate Evan, we used to smoke. He quit before me. He quit probably like 3 years before me, 4 years, and then he vaped for a while. Now he doesn't do anything. And then my other old roommate, she might still smoke every now and again, but she doesn't smoke as heavily as she used to. So yeah, I guess I left her.
Good. I mean, whatever.
Good.
Great. Congratulations.
Congratulations. It is a huge quit. Do you ever come across something in your wardrobe, like you pull out an old coat and you're like, shit, there it is. You can smell it.
No, I think it's been long enough because I quit January 3rd. So all the coats I wore this year I didn't smoke in them. So it's been like
Okay.
2 years, I guess, since I would have smoked in those coats. Does that
Do you
make
wear
sense?
wigs?
I do wear wigs.
Because hair will hold smoke.
Hair does hold smoke, and for a while, my wigs did smell a little bit like smoke. But then I bought this like a wig refresher thing, and then I like washed a bunch of them, and then I was like, okay, now she does not smell like smoke.
How
To me-
important are wigs in your life? Would you ever quit wigs?
No, I love a wig.
I've only had one made for my head, the full head, And it was so expensive and so fancy, and the studio owned it. I couldn't get it back.
It should have walked away with you on your last day.
I think they kept it in like a safe. Well, Nicole, I just want to say thank you so much. I suspected you were delightful, and you really are. I'm sure a lot of people have thanked you, parents, during the pandemic. There's very few things my kids and I could agree upon to watch. Nailed It was one of the only ones. I watched it for your relationship with the redheaded AD guy that you're always yelling at.
That's so funny. You're the
That
third
was
person
why I
who was
watched.
like, he's a redhead. I thought he was blonde.
He's like a ginger. He's a ginger.
How funny.
His beard, when he gets beard, he's a redhead.
How funny.
He's like a Viking.
I guess I don't know what redheads are.
But do people tell you that they watch for your relationship with him?
People tell me that they watch for all different types of things. Our relationship, my relationship with Jacques, the silly cakes. I love Jacques Torres. He is the nicest man.
I mean, there's obvious reasons to watch. I was like, I'm not as interested in the cakes as I am in the humor and what you personally will make very, very funny. So thank you for that. Thank you for keeping us all entertained during the pandemic. And thank you for coming on Quitters.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it.